Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Code Mind Mastery. In today's video, let us solve some questions from compliance and regulatory section. Compliance and regulatory is very important for the CBC exam. Even though 3 questions will be asked from this section, it is very important because you have to get those 3 correct. Then you will have higher chances of passing. An important trick to solve these compliance and regulatory questions is that you have to understand the concept. Without understanding the concepts, you can't remember compliance and regulatory rules. If you want compliance and regulatory notes and also practice some more questions, then you can check the playlist CPC Compliance and Regulatory in my channel. Let's start with the first question. Before that, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video and subscribe to my channel. This is the first question. Advance Beneficiary Notice ABN is required when? Option A, services are always covered. Option B, services may not be covered by Medicare. Option C, patient refuses care. And option D, billing private insurance. The right answer is option B. Services may not be covered by Medicare. An ABN is issued before providing a service that Medicare may deny because it might be not medically necessary. It protects the provider and informs the patient that they may be responsible for the payment. So here, the patient is responsible for payment and the service will not be covered by Medicare. At that time, advance beneficiary notice is required. Next question. Upcoding is defined as option A, reporting a lower level code. Option B, reporting a higher level service than documented. Option C, correct coding practice. Option D, reporting bundled services. The correct answer is reporting a higher level service than documented. That is option B. Why? Because upcoding means assigning a code that reflects a more complex or expensive service than what the documentation supports. So it is a compliance violation and it can lead to audits, penalties and legal action. So you should never assign a code which is for a more complex procedure than what is actually performed. Okay? Next question. Which scenario represents the highest compliance risk? Option A, accurate coding with full documentation. Option B, consistent use of mid-level E&M codes. Option C, frequent use of highest level E&M codes without clear documentation. Option D, use of modifiers appropriately. So, the right answer is option C. Frequent use of highest level E&M codes without clear documentation. Why? Because consistently billing high level E&M codes without strong documentation is a red flag for upcoding, fraud and audit triggers. So, it is one of the most common issues identified by OIG and CMS. Next question. What is unbundling in CPT coding? Option A, reporting a comprehensive code correctly. Option B, reporting multiple codes that are already included in a single code. Option C, using outdated CPT codes. And option D, coding without documentation. So what is the right answer? The correct answer is option B, reporting multiple codes that are already included in a single code. Why? Unbundling means billing separate component codes instead of the required comprehensive code. So it leads to overpayment and it is considered improper billing. Okay. So we should never report multiple codes that are already included in a single code. If single procedure code includes all steps, then why do we need to report multiple codes? Okay. Therefore, it is wrong to report multiple codes that are already included in a single code and it is called as unbundling. Next question. The minimum necessary standard requires option A, full disclosure of patient records. Option B, limiting PHI access to only what is needed. So what is PHI? Protected health information. Option C, sharing PHI freely within the organization, and option D, no restrictions on PHI access. The correct answer is option B, limiting PHI access to only what is needed. Why? Because under HIPAA, the minimum necessary rule means only access the least amount of patient information needed to perform your job and prevent unnecessary sharing of protected health information and protect patient privacy. This applies to coders, billers, providers, and all the healthcare staff. So, the minimum necessary standard requires limiting protected health information access to only what is needed. So, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I'm putting in a lot of effort to help you all pass, and I'm keeping everything completely free so you can learn without stress. If my videos are helping you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support my channel so I can keep making more content for you. See you in the next video.